I remember going to the first session with you and then coming out and texting my CEO and saying, thank you so much for setting me up with Eddie, because this is exactly where I need to be. I'm an engagement manager. I manage all aspects of the client engagement process for a consulting firm. I'm also a certified project manager. So my background is very much in logistics, making things happen. And I needed to improve not just my pitch, which definitely needed to be improved and was, but also the way that I sell myself and my own expertise, which is something I definitely struggle with, being a behind the scenes kind of person. So building some confidence, some credible confidence there was extremely valuable in going through the process together. I built a lot of confidence, but also like awareness around what my positioning statement was and the value of my brand. And it has helped me try to move my team forward in a way that increases the value of our brand. And as you can just see, we've up until today have been continuing to have conversations about the value of our brand and our offerings, and defining what that means for not only our company, but for the industry as well. In my experience, it can be very difficult to put your idea on paper in a way that is highly digestible to the person reading it. And not only have we been able to do that for our company, but I watched my fellow Swagger School participants, my fellow students, if you will, I watched them go through that process as well, and see some of them come with a very strong, well-developed idea, but that had not been defined on paper. And in one session, we went from having no way of making a visual aid of our idea to having it, not just like learning the way to create the visual aid, but we went from 0 to 60 in literally one session in terms of how we market our offerings, and the way that we can sell it in a way to folks that is like sexy and fun. And they're going to have FOMO if they don't sign on to whatever you're offering, fear of missing out. We really have been able to just heighten the excitement around the education that we were already doing. We're already doing the work, but how do we talk about it in a way that is effective? I think Swagger School was essential, not only to our company doing that, but to all of my teammates as well. I saw them go through the journey with me. And Yeti, you nail that portion of executing, from the way that we are engaged in the session, to everybody kind of check in and share where you are, what you're working on, and taking pauses there to really work through not only our homework, but also whatever we're dealing with in the moment, to the way that we are engaged in submitting our assignments. It's not really like homework, it's moving us forward in a really concrete way. So with each draft of the proposal, you may not be able to sit down with me and walk me through my proposal, but you recorded yourself doing it and shared that with me. And then I was able to watch it and take notes and share the highlights with my team too. So your feedback was actually able to get not only to me, but through me and to my team. And that was really invaluable, because they couldn't be in a session with me, but they were still, because of the format, able to have access to all of the feedback. So that was super crucial. Well, there's two ways of thinking about that. There's like personally for me, the shift that happened, and then for my company, I think the shift that's happening, because those are a little bit different. The shift for me has definitely been in one of like building credible confidence and like authority around the subject, because I don't always feel, I'm not an authority on the source in which I'm working because I'm working in diversity consulting and I'm a white woman, so I'm not an authority there. But and so I've always been kind of wrestling with how do I have authority in this space, and you really helped me see that it is the Oz behind the curtain, if you will, of who I am, that I can get things done for CEOs and for busy people. I can get things done for them. And once they hand it off to me, they don't have to worry about if it's going to get done. They don't have to micromanage me or follow me up because they know it's going to happen. And that's my value, right? That's my personal value and the authority that I bring into the engagement. And so to not shy away from that was helpful. And then for my company, up until today, still we're discussing value and how to articulate our value to ourselves and then externally to others. And we're still navigating that conversation. And I think we're going to need more help from you in making progress there, because there's so much still to learn and do. And we've come mountains from where we were before with our first proposal draft, way back in week 1 or 2, when we were still using a very clunky Word document with taking a lot of space, but it wasn't really working for us, the 12 pages of proposal. And now I feel like we're making those pages work for us in a way that they were not before. Well, I'm an artist, so like colors come to mind first instead of words. When I think of working together in this process, I see lots of pinks and purples and greens. Very creative, energizing colors. And so I think that translates, excuse me, dear. I think that translates into the feedback that you're looking. I think that translates as working with Annie Eddy and Swagger School, of course, her whole fabulous team has been both creatively stimulating and extremely practical, which is a space that I'm always trying to navigate as an artist project manager. And you seem to kind of own that space from day one. And I remember going to the first session with you and then coming out and texting my CEO and saying, thank you so much for setting me up with Annie Eddy, because this is exactly where I need to be. One, I guess, more soft outcome would be that I'm much better in the room with the clients, right? I'm much better with just jumping right into what I do and not feeling like I need to apologize for it or be like, oh, this is the boring part. But, I really own why I'm there. And that's been extremely helpful. But also more in terms of value for our whole brand and for our firm. We're still having these conversations about value and pricing. And we're going back and forth on some points, but there have been small wins where we've been able to agree on increasing our speaking fee, right, substantially. And at first there was a lot of like, oh, I don't know. And then when we just started doing it, people were like, okay. There was no, you're charging how much? It was just like, you wouldn't know that we had even changed the rate. And it was, it's often double what we were charging before. And so while we still have some work to do in terms of marketing our other services and types of engagements, just getting my team on board with raising the prices for speaking engagements it was also slow, getting everybody bought into that, but we're doing it now. And there has been not a single person say anything about how the price has gone up. Honestly, when Swagger School was over, I was a little sad because I had come to look forward to our weekly meetings as a community space of, folks who were going through the same thing together. and learning together. And you know, work is often so meeting focused, and what the outcomes that you're getting out of these meetings, and the deliverables are often, you know, boom, 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 boom. But with Swagger School, it was like the deliverables were bigger, and they were a bigger picture. And I enjoyed thinking about the homework, and I enjoyed doing the homework, and I could see where it was pushing me, you know, or pulling me rather, in a good way, you know, where it was guiding, the homework was guiding us through this process that was elevating our brand and our pitch. And I'm sad that it's not a regular thing anymore. And I'm sure we'll figure out a way to you know, keep engaged and engaging as a resource and as a community. But yeah, I guess I was sad that it was over, because we had a little community going, and we were all going through the same thing together, and that was nice. Even if it was a two-person meeting, like it made no difference if it was all of us or if it was just a couple of us. Sometimes even the smaller meetings were like meatier, you know, we could get into the nitty-gritty with some folks some more and share knowledge. And it was just, yeah, it was really great. I miss it. I mean, not to be trite, but you can't afford not to do it. It's the confidence that I developed through Swagger School was invaluable. I'm going to take that with me into every job that I have moving forward. And I'm at a point in my career where that's important. You know, I've still got a ways to go in front of me. And so that's important, the confidence, but just the value that having a really nice proposal is bringing to our brand is massive. You know, I don't feel embarrassed to send it out anymore. It's a beautiful proposal. I feel like our positioning statement is actually it's updated to where we actually are now as a company versus where we were when some of that content was written a year or 2 years ago, because the times have changed, the urgency for our work has changed. And so we really had to update our positioning statement with the times, because everything is moving so fast, especially in terms right now of discussions around diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is my sector. I think we could not have afforded to not do this exactly when we did it. So timing is everything too. I would tell folks, if you're thinking about doing it, if you have this feeling like you really need to take your business or your brand to the next level, there is no faster way to do that than with Swagger School, because your positioning statement will be developed through your homework. Your proposal will be developed through your homework. Your confidence will be developed through all of the sessions together that we have. I just cannot say enough how valuable it was. I would do it again. I would spend just as much money a second time going through it a second time. So definitely for folks mid-career like me too, I wish I'd done this in my 20s.